everyone, so we are live. So what is up, everyone? This is Mr. T coming at you live from NYC. Welcome back to Convos, our podcast over here on YouTube. And hey guys, welcome back to another episode. And so, before I begin and get down to today's topic, I want to just throw down my support to everyone, again, for everything that you've done. The channel was growing hella fast, and I can't thank you guys enough. Seriously, if not for you guys, and if not for me thinking about you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't have the passion, the love, and the respect that I have for everybody. And, in my heart, and just know this is my shout out again to everyone. I hope that what I've been doing was alright, and because, don't get me wrong, it's because of you guys that everything's been here. And so, I'd love to have you guys on once more, and you guys are just amazing, with your feedback and everything that you've done. Just to, let me know, like, hey, Mr. T, you've been awesome, you're doing well. And, those comments, again, they really hit me hard, but in a good way, because, who doesn't like hearing those things? And it's not just because it's praise or whatever. It's because of the fact that, again, my goal here is mental health. Whether you see it through the podcast or whether you've seen it through the memes and the shorts that I've been making, to being active over on the community, I can honestly and truthfully say that I feel like I'm one of the most active people on YouTube at the moment who uses that dang community tab. But it's awesome as well just to, share the news and share the love, share the praise, and, just get people on board to know that, hey, this is a safe space and everyone can enjoy whatever. No bullies allowed here, and, everyone's opinion is respected so long as we ain't hurting each other. Because again, we all have our own beliefs, and I don't want to encroach on that on anybody. But again, before I get away from myself, because I get so caught up in what the hell I'm saying. But again, thank you guys all for everything, and I can't wait for more episodes to come. I got a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of good topics, but because, like some of the comments that you guys have been leaving for me is, some of them I feel for that, and I want to respect that. And so again, I don't want to say good because you guys are asking for help. So, but it's what's awesome is that you guys, again, you're sharing your voice, and whatever it is that we're throwing down over here, you guys are loving it and you're digging it. And I don't know what it is, but even I myself, just recording over here, and my setup is pretty damn basic. It's awesome, and I feel I can say a lot over here. It helps as well for the stress. It helps as well because even I myself, just because, like I said, I've been giving advice and helping out other people doesn't mean that I don't go through my own struggles, because I do. And you guys ain't alone in all that, and let's just get it on and move on with our lives, hope for the best, and just work with it day by day, because if we ain't dead, we're still got a life to live, right? But anyways, so I think that was a long ass intro, and I apologize for that, but I want to get down to the topic that we got for you guys today. We're gonna talk arguments, and so here's the deal. Where I got that inspiration from is, well, first off, your comments. Like literally, you guys have been like telling about arguments and like wondering how the hell we're gonna deal with those, right? And again, these comments, again, people have been stating about, it came from, like families, friends, teachers, acquaintances, and other people of every sort. And, again, it sucks as well that people go through that, and, people have to just live through that knowing that, hey, this hate is still here. And guys, I'll be honest, it's still gonna be there. And let's get that straight. So, life wasn't meant to be easy for any of us, right? It wasn't meant to be easy, but it wasn't meant to be hell, there's a saying, once you've seen hell, you don't want anyone to go through it. And, I've seen hell in my life, and it got really hectic at one point. But, again, by the time you see all those bad things in life, you don't want to see it ever again. And you don't want people to go through it either. Even though, there's also another saying that people get what they deserve. And it's true to some extent, but again, do we really want other people to suffer, or arguments to keep on going? No, we don't want that. And we want the best for everyone, and we want other people, just to clear their mind and clear their head that, hey, there's more to life than all of that. But again, You guys have been mentioning about, you guys have been getting arguments from your friends, your family, and other people in your life. And, I ain't a stranger to that. I was once a child. I was once this guy, a little kid. And from there, it surprised me as well that recalling all those things that I've had with my own family, First off, everyone, there's a reason why arguments come about, right? And again, some of them may be really good reasons why we got to talk about it, but some of them may be really shizzy, And I feel that as well. People, again, you guys have different opinions, and you guys are completely entitled and deserving of them. And I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. There are times as well where, when the arguments happen, how it feels just in on our mental health, And let me give you guys an example. So, I remember when a friend of mine was talking about how, his parents were being unreasonable. And, I've seen my fair share of unreasonable parents. And, it sucks as well that the child has to be a victim of that. But, sometimes I always keep in mind, to be hopeful that, eventually that child is going to have his or her life. And, parents cannot dictate on that anymore. At that point forward, it's up to them to see. It's up to you guys or whoever it may be. You've been through the arguments, you've been through that hell. But then when you have control of your life, it's all about just, well, what do you want to do with it, right? Are you going to fall in that same pattern, or are you going to step up and be better, And I love as well, what I love about the gen now, and I ain't referring about the new gen, just them, I'm referring to other people who are also growing up in life and just seeing what's happening with the world. We're focusing on mental health, and from there, it's like, hey, this is important, right? Mental health is so dang important, which is why, I checked the job market for psychologists, openings, and it's so packed because so many people have been doing it. So many people have been looking into mental health because it's a real dang thing, your physical health is important, and it's true. The problem is that, it's not your physical health that can convince you, to hurt yourself, hurt other people, or kill yourself in that way. And I'm saying that lightly. But again, it's your mind, right? And if you ain't mentally well, then it's expected that things will go off the rails, right? And so I've seen it, and I've read your guys' comments, and I know how it feels as well when these arguments happen. They just take such a toll on your health because it's like, some we can get, some conversations we get where it's so reasonable, right? It can be so reasonable as to, for example, and I'm gonna bring this up, and I hope none of this shit happens to you guys. For example, if there was a death in the family, or for example, you're talking about money and finances, or you're talking about where the next meal is gonna come from and all that stuff, right? And those are reasonable, right? People need to eat. People need to honor life. People need to deal with those challenges that, are life-threatening and life-changing. And those are the arguments where, it's not just an argument. It's like, what's our course of action, right? Those are okay. And many of us have had those, right? But, what's the argument that I feel impacts us the most is when they're so dang ridiculous. You see that Karen, and I'm not referring to people whose name Karen. My apologies. I'm talking about those quote-unquote Karens, who bring up the worst arguments. And, it's so ridiculous because everyone gets put down because of it. Well, why the hell should another person bring down someone else over an argument that can be so quick to get over, literally, things like, for example, of course, when you gotta eat, but then, having a hard time and arguing what to choose when there's so many options, that's ridiculous, right? Because there's different options there. It's like, just pick one and move on, right? And then, other things as well, where, for example, you gotta be on this one classwork. And, I'm a teacher, right? And I've seen parents argue about that one classwork, and I'm like, why the hell are you arguing about that one classwork when, it's just one? You didn't even think about, the quiz. You didn't even think about the test that comes up, right? Just because, and the thing is, like, I'm gonna bring up something from my profession. When you got a classwork, right? The whole point of why we do that is to practice, right? It's not defining yet, right? Because when you get a classwork, right? What came before that, right? It was a lesson, right? Are you honestly gonna think that one student is gonna get it first try? Hell no, right? It's not gonna happen there. And just those petty arguments, and they're done by people who, of course they're to be respected, like how I respect everyone, regardless of their own opinions. And even if they try to freaking enforce it, which can get really dang annoying, you still have that respect. There are arguments where, they're reasonable, but just to hear those is such a peeve of mine, And, like, seriously, I don't know why people want to initiate that, and why should children be the victim of that. And so, guys, I'm really sorry as well if you've had that in your life, and, you remember those arguments where they're nonsensical, we don't need them, and, it's such a turn down as well, because, it's part of those reasons why people get traumatized, People don't get traumatized. Here's the thing. People are less likely to be traumatized if the argument makes sense. If there's a reason about money, if there's a reason about an injury or a death or something of the sorts, right? That's reasonable, right? Because it happened and there needs to be action towards it. But sometimes people are more traumatized by something that, is so unneeded, right? Something like I said, when you order the wrong thing or you get a bad grade on a simple classwork where you don't need it, right? Those arguments, and people, I've seen like my friends where they're traumatized. Hey, you gotta do this, right? You gotta earn these grades because, you're not gonna go to college and you're not gonna get all those things and you're not gonna be like that, and your parents are gonna argue with you. What the hell is the point there, right? And again, why I'm being so like emotional about that, because I've not only seen that, but by myself, I've experienced that. And again, it's not to diss anyone who I love and all those things, right? But again, I still remember when I was a child when there were arguments that did not make sense at all. Like, there were arguments where I will admit I was really stupid, but there were arguments where it's like, what the heck was the point of it all, right? So again, if you guys think that, for example, my life was beds and roses, it wasn't. Part of the reason why I did this is because of the fact that, my life wasn't perfect, but I just want us to get together and say, hey, it wasn't the case, right? It wasn't the case that everyone was going to be perfect. And so, guys, if you've been through arguments like that, I'm really sorry. And I really do hope for the best of you, the best for you, because you ain't deserving of that, right? There are some conversations that have got to be laid down, but there are some as well where they did not make sense at all. And, if we are gonna be in this generation and age, where new meets older, we gotta compromise, right? And, we gotta put in our minds that, when we're older, we ain't gonna fall for the same trap. We gotta compromise. And we gotta do all those things, right? But that was like my story. And I think that was like the story, not just of my life, but of other people. But, I bet you're wondering now, what the heck can I do to what can I advise you guys on what to do when you get through those things, right? When you get through those arguments, we're always going to hear that at some point. It will happen at one point or another where there's an argument that did not make sense, whether it be from your parents who are maybe overprotective, or from someone like a teacher who may be judging you, or another figure who is like controlling your life, and that should not be the case, especially, when you get, when you're over 18 and above, right? That shouldn't be the case. Your life is yours now, right? Now and forever. So, again, I'm going to get down to the advice on that real quick. I got to take a sip of water. But apart from that, we're at the halfway point. So I'm going to play for you guys something over on the radio. Again, shoutouts to Vlog, no copyright music for everything. I feel like I'm like a tape recorder where I say the same shit. So I'm going to say that, the artists that I'm going to bring up today, again, they're amazing. Again, their links are going to be in the description. But I don't know. I just dig the serenade that this guy, or gal, is posting up because it's auto-tuned. So, again, they're amazing. And again, if not for Vlog, no copyright music, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to hear them. But right now, here's the soundtrack that I got for you guys. Check it out, and we'll come right back real soon.
All I want is some tender love from you, baby. Oh, it's been so long. Why you keeping me waiting? Why you keeping me waiting? All I want, the love from you is so long. The love, all I want, the love from you, baby. All I want, the love from you is so long. The love, all I want, the love from you. Why you keeping me waiting?
Alright everyone, so we are back, and so again, shout out to Vlog No Copyright Music and to our wonderful artists that we featured on here today. Again, they're amazing, and I wouldn't pick any other company or any other crew to, have their music on. So again, shout out to them. They're amazing, and I will honor them every time we got an episode because they're amazing, alright? But anyways, guys, back to the topic at hand. So we got arguments. Back to what I was saying, we've all been through that, and seriously, everyone has been through the ringer, and again, this is our chance to rant about it. So again, I hope you guys can relate to that, when you've heard those arguments that just don't make sense, to the best that you can even think about it, right? Again, things that are petty and unneeded, like food choices, small grades, doing some chores when you gotta get down to it. Or, there's this, and I saw this video on Instagram, and I think I've seen it again on TikTok, where the child, they just got home, and, they're tired, and they've been through school, and then they gotta get down to the chores, and not even, 5 minutes in through the door, and seriously, the parents are already demanding for them to do shiz, and I don't get that, I felt so bad. In fact, that was one of the inspirations for this podcast, apart from you guys, who, again, much respect to all of y'all, but again, it was just so frustrating to see that. And, even then, I still remember it, but I know we as a people got to take the higher road. We are better than that. We're better than that. Whoever we are, and we're still young, we should understand that. And again, I'm not chastising, I'm not hitting on older people, but in this gen, we got to be better than that. Those who take the brunt of the argument and those who do the argument. So, again, here's my advice to you guys. So, first off, if you feel these arguments are going to continue, don't worry, because there's a wonderful number that you're going to reach where then you can think about what you want to be. 18. That's right, the number 18. So guys, really, there's a reason that happens. It's because from that point forward, your parents, albeit you keep that respect of them, but again, that's completely on your situation. I totally understand as well if you may not have that same respect. And I won't criticize, because people are entitled to that. People are deserving of their own opinions. But again, once you reach 18, from that point forward, it's now with you, right? Just keep in mind, those arguments, you don't have to hear them anymore, because you've learned from them. Above all, you learn from them, and you've been through the ringer, and now you can make the right choices. For example, if your parents kept arguing about all these things, petty and serious, take their serious arguments keep them in mind. But if it's something petty, throw them out. Because from that point forward, you want to leave with the perception not hating your parents. You don't want to hate them or any of the figures in your life that guided you. You don't want to fall for their trap, right? So it's all about, when those arguments happen, again, when you become older, from that point forward, you be the better person, right? You should be the one to, instead of argue, you gotta compromise, right? Gotta compromise and think things through. And sometimes less is more, especially in an argument when there's more talking and less arguing, right? It's just gonna be a shit show. It's just gonna be like, just a ranting, a fest. Or I lost my train of thought. But literally, it's just gonna be a rant that didn't even make sense. So, another thing as well, apart from, thinking about when you're 18 and when you can finally be not just free, but also you have your identity back. Again, another thing you should do, especially in an argument, is just to keep quiet. Because, the one who's arguing, especially if it doesn't make sense, they're gonna run out of words. They're gonna run out of words, and it's better that they look like the ones that are ridiculous than you, right? The more ridiculous thing is to fall for that trap, fall for the argument, because they're expecting it. The person who's arguing is just gonna be expecting that you're gonna cause a shit show back, and then you both look like idiots, right? That shouldn't be the case. Let that person talk, because then it will be the public, and again, the public. This is why I still have faith in humanity, is because people can side on, who is the right there. Especially, when I see in New York, I see Karens, I've seen racist, sexist people get turned down by all of society, and it's not just because that people have their own opinions, sure, but, when they see those arguments that don't make sense, hell no. They're going to fight with you. If you look like the victim. Again, in an argument, there's always going to be victims. And, it's better that you look like you be the one who's the victim as compared to, the one who is causing the argument in the first place. Because then people will call that person out. So again, it's better to just be silent. To be silent and to think better. And to, keep in mind the future that, you're not going to go through that anymore, right? You're going to step up and be the better person. And you're gonna step up to the challenges no matter what, right? Again, but, parents and other adult figures, they're always gonna find ways to argue, but some of them is not just BS. Some of them is true, and that's the one keep in mind, right? But again, anything else, just throw it away, because, you know better, right? You know that silence is better, right? Silence is better than an argument, because eventually things calm down, right? And even if you've been through the ringer, it's not gonna last forever, right? But what is gonna last forever is your attitude, right? So again, not again, but here's the third advice that I got for you guys. Always compromise. Always compromise. We need more of that in the world. Because of course, we always have our own opinions. We're gonna value them and we're gonna respect them, right? There's not an issue with that. But the issue is that when we don't see reason anymore, when we don't even look at other people with respect and understanding, when we think that we should fight if we feel threatened, if we feel threatened when there's not even a threat. There's a difference between choosing a right order and having a gun strapped to your head, right? Those are two different threats, right? There's a time to be called to action, for example, with that gun. Then in this case, when you're choosing something and then that argument just spirals out of control, like, especially, for example, I've seen arguments where they talk about, like, talking about ordering chicken, and all of a sudden they talk about, what are you doing with your life? And it's so weird, It's so weird, guys. And I've seen it all. But again, compromise, guys. Find the better solution. Find solutions rather than, and take control of the situation than causing another problem. Things can escalate really quickly if we don't look at it another way. And so again, compromise. We need that back in the world because people nowadays ain't compromising. They're killing each other, shooting each other. They're fist fighting. Some people even have brass knuckles at the ready or pepper spray, thinking that I gotta resort to that, And I've seen some wonderful people over here, and people who are like homeless, people who look crazy. Again, there's just misunderstandings there. And what I love about the city is that we know that, we know that people are deserving of what their life is, right? And it's up to them to decide what it is that they want to do. I've seen homeless people who are more humble and caring than Karens, and Karens get exposure but for the wrong reasons. And it's sad as well that they fell for that trap. But again, apart from that, guys, I'm getting ahead of myself. Please compromise in everything that you do. Compromise in the things that, in every argument, both the serious and the petty, Compromise is so important. And don't get me wrong, I've been challenged by that as well. Sometimes I just want to bash something just because of a petty argument. And I think we've all felt that at some point. It's human nature. It's human nature to get physical at some point, right? But again, just try not to hurt yourself or other people, right? There's more to things than meets the eye, and there's more to it than a simple argument. And a simple argument shouldn't put us down, Like just earlier, I had an argument, but what did I do? I went about it the right way, and I went on to, finally get down to recording this podcast. And I'm not saying finally because I put it off for a while. I'm saying finally because it's gonna be so hard. It was so hard for me to talk about this and not get wrapped up into it. Because even now there's still some arguments that I really hated. But I don't want to mix just the feelings that I had and ruin the argument, ruin this podcast episode. I needed some time to really think about it. And now that I'm really thinking about it, I think that this was better. That I loved that I was able to do this because it not just made me calm down. I don't want to just resort to that and it's just you guys hearing my rants, but rather it helps me to put things in perspective. I will respect my parents, I will respect my family, I will respect my friends and acquaintances, regardless of whatever, right? Because I know the circumstances and I know people ain't evil. If that were the case, the whole world would then crumble. But it's not true. Again, people will feel that at some points, but again, it is what it is, right? And, it's better that person let it out than do the ultimate thing is to hurt themselves or other people, right? That's the worst outcome that could ever happen. And I don't want that for anyone. And so, again, that's why I felt that this was the right time to do so, even after the midst of an argument, because, those arguments don't mean anything. They don't. And again, it's better you be the victim than the culprit, because again, the culprit, that's on them. Right? It's not that they got what they deserve, but it's rather, it's up to them to decide how they want to look, how they want to feel, how they want to act. And, I think that was part of the reason why my life, albeit the challenges, went ahead. And I came from a place that no one knows to a place that everyone knows, because I learned that arguments ain't gonna get me anywhere. When you argue, it's just gonna leave someone to be a victim and you looking like an ass. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So again, guys, take the higher road. And let me just repeat what advice I got for you guys. Again, let me just repeat that because I don't want it to get mixed up in all the shit that I've been saying. So again, remember that when you're 18 and if you're already that and above, the decision is yours. The choice is yours. You don't have to worry about these arguments. But also, especially, better to be silent and soft-spoken than to be hard-lined and, uncompromising. Because by then, you're going to get in a fist fight. It's going to happen where if you don't compromise and you don't do that, someone's gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna get hurt directly or not, right? So again, it's better to be silent and just to really think about it, because this gen is all about being thinkers. And I know that everyone is thinking right now. It doesn't matter if you're like a doctor or if you're in NYC. I'm implying in NYC right now. If you're a gang member, it doesn't matter. People are still thinking. People are still thinking, and people have that in mind, and they understand that. If not for the fact that people ain't thinking, again, the city would crumble. But again, keep in mind to compromise, right? Keep in mind as well to be that better person. Keep in mind as well that, with every argument, it's up to you to think, hey, is this something I gotta take seriously? And if it ain't, move on, right? It's gonna pass, and it's better to just be silent, get out of the way, move on, and be the better person. Because again, that's on that other person. If they're the ones arguing, it's not gonna work. I guarantee you it will work only for the short time, but in the long run, it ain't gonna work. Because again, anything just completely emotional, and again, we are emotional people, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. We can't think and be emotional at the same time. It's gotta be one or the other. But in this case, guys, I'd rather have us be the thinkers and think about emotions carefully and, think about how arguments go. Because, again, it's just an easy way for things to go wrong. So why not instead make it right and instead take the higher road, compromise, listen to other people, respect other people, love other people, and just remember that there's only one race and one kind in this world. That's us. That's humans. But we know what to do, right? So again, I hope this advice helps as well for anyone who's been a victim of arguments. Again, your life is yours. Own it, right? And you don't want to argue, then don't, right? Be silent and compromise when the time is right. And then we got about a better world. Because believe me, it's such a simple sauce, but it's that simplicity is meaningful. I always say that. Simplicity is meaningful. Things shouldn't be so complicated. And in this case as well, right, we know what can make things complicated, and we know how to avoid that. So, again, thank you guys for listening to the rants that I got, but not just the rants as well. I hope you guys can, relate to the argument and know that this is real. And I hope the advice that I gave you guys hopefully made sense. But if you need more, let me know, because again, I want to keep these episodes at a reasonable length, because you guys are just listening in to a guy who's talking, right? So again, if you guys have anything else to say, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna be here always, and I'm gonna be here regardless of whether I'm busy or not, because I have time to help someone in need, and in this case is you guys and gals. All right, so anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode of Convos. Man, it's hot in the studio today. Like, it's summer, but I'm okay with heat. Don't get me wrong. But again, without a fan or without any sort of ventilation, it gets really musky over here. But anyways, guys, that's enough of me. Again, you guys are amazing. Shoutouts again to Vlog No Copyright Music for their awesome jams that we got over here. I thank them for allowing me to do this. And again, guys, feel free to let me know, comment, PM, DM me. I notice many of you guys love DMing me, and that's completely fine. So I'm gonna keep that in mind, and I'll take that to heart, knowing that, you wanted to make things personal, and I understand that. So again, don't worry about that. So I will respect your privacy. I will respect your autonomy. All right. So again, check out everything in the description if you guys want to communicate with me. Let me know of anything. Let me know how you felt about this advice, or if you felt that it was shiz. I'm no stranger to that, and I'm no stranger to when someone else has another opinion. It's so weird as well. I've dealt with haters. I don't know what to do about that, but anyways, that's a story for another time. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys have been an awesome audience. It has been awesome over here in NYC, and I can't wait for more episodes to come. Please like, share, sub, and much love. You guys have been amazing. I love you all, and I can't wait for the next episode. I can't wait to see what you got. And again, just know this is a safe space. If you need me, you know where to find me. All right? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Mr. T signing off over here in the studio and over here in NYC. Much love, everyone. Have an awesome day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. And I'll see you at the next episode, alright? Peace out. See you soon.